Here we go, everybody. Welcome to our special NCAA tournament preview, men's soccer, 2 hours, as we document almost the entire history of the Fairfield University men's soccer team. Ivey Speight here, bringing you all the coverage. In the next 2 hours, we will have interviews ranging from players from the 1960s, 1980s. We have the current head coach of the Stags coming up in around 8 minutes, and we've got players that were on the first championship team in Disney, and we got Tom Clements, the greatest era of Fairfield Stags men's soccer. So, let's get right to it.
Yeah, and now I'm going to take you guys, fast forward you a little bit to the Iona College game on the 22nd of October. You come in there, Iona comes to your house nationally ranked, and everyone's kind of talking about this game. There's a nice little buzz around campus. And then you go out there and you utterly dominate Iona in the first half. They come out, no goals to show of it, though. They come out in the second half and dominate you guys. And then in overtime, you come out and you get that goal, that Clements goal. And it was one of those goals that you kind of just almost defines the season by. I mean, just tell us a little bit about the feelings that you guys had after winning that game.
Yeah, I remember going into that overtime. I think that was our third overtime game.
It's a lucky shot.
No, we came in that overtime, and by then it was really just another game for us because we've gotten into overtime 7 times before that, and every time we go into overtime, we always say like we've been here before, like we know what we have to do, and we have this. I don't want to jinx anything, so I'll knock on wood here, but we have a special goal on campus. That one down on the if you're looking at the pitch from the bench, that goal on the left side of the field is the goal we always score in overtime, and hasn't let us down yet. So
a couple of interviews that we have were players that were coached by Reese, and they just mentioned of how much fun it was being on one of his teams. How much fun have you guys had being on this team? What was the best speech you've heard?
Mine and Doug's freshman year. Jack were you still?
I was probably a senior by then.
No, but I'm saying now, like
I think we were in.
Sophomore year, were you still with us, or were you already hurt by that time?
Oh,
I don't know what stage was he.
Canisius? Do you remember? You don't think you were?
Yeah. I was there.
Yeah,
we
traveled up to Canisius. I remember my freshman year. This is the mine and Doug's freshman year, Jack's sophomore year, and we were having kind of another rough season. It was a bumpy one, and it was actually the year that we won the MAC, and I remember going up to Canisius, and it was at the point of the season where we had, I think, 5 games left, and we had to win all 5 games. And if we just lost, if you dropped any points, then we were basically out. We had no shot to get in. And I remember going out for the warm-up, and we always, have an hour before the game, we have a speech, and then you go out and warm up, and you come up for your pregame speech. And we come in, and on the whiteboard, there's just like a list, like 30, 25 people, and it's just initials. And basically, it was someone's wedding. I can't remember whose wedding, but someone was getting married that day that was a soccer alum. And basically, it was all these guys that were at the wedding that were just texting Reese before, just good luck. And he literally just went through every single person and just, like, said what they said, and he just broke down. Like, I've never seen the man cry or anywhere near show any kind of emotion besides passion. And he just broke down in tears and basically just told us that we had to do it not for ourselves but for the alumni that cared about us, for everyone that was supporting us and for the university. And I remember going out there, and I remember Tom Clements scoring a great goal from a set piece to get it off, and I don't remember what, maybe 3-0 we came out winning that game or something like that. 4-0. Like, we just went out there and just sent out a message, and then from there on in we won all 5 games. No goals in all those games. Like, it was unreal.
It's the first MAC championship since your guys' freshman year. It was 2008, and now you fast forward 2011. I think the most impressive part about this team is the fact that you started. Like, I hate to keep bringing it up, but you started 0-4. And anytime a team starts 0-4, you'll ever see a team rebound, and let alone win the number 1 seed during the regular season, but actually win the 12 consecutive games and actually get to the NCAA tournament. I mean, how much does that mean to you guys, the fact that you guys were able to fight back, persevere, and now be in the situation that you are?
when we were 0-4, I don't think we were playing that bad. I think we've had 2 bad games all season. I think, not pointing any fingers, but the ref didn't really help us out in the BC game or the Northeastern game.
Even still, like in pre-season, we played 3 pre-season games. Like, we drew our first game, won the next 2. So it's not like we were going straight into the season and lost 4 games. Like, we still won 2 games before that we were deserved winners. So, like, we still had our heads up. We still knew what we were capable of. And it was a matter of time before we got a win, yeah.
Yeah, I think that... I know you're touching on the fact that we went 4 games without a win in the beginning of the season, but I think another thing to think about is that we did end up clinching that first seed, and we ended up winning the tournament, and that's only happened, I think, like 4 times in the MAC history. So that the number 1 seed has actually won the championship. So I think it's something.
Good stat, Doug. Good stat.
Definitely.
And welcome back to WVOF 88.5 Fairfield University Radio, a special 2-hour show dedicated to Fairfield men's soccer. And with us in studio is class of 1987, Rob McMahon. Rob, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great.
And thank you for all the time. It's really exciting to see the program win yet another championship.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's been a real pleasure to be around this team in particular. I've had an opportunity over the last couple of years to get to know a bunch of the guys. And in my role currently as the chairman of Fairfield U's Friends of Soccer program, we spent a lot of time together over the last year or so, and it's been a real privilege and honor. I was around in the early days when they did go 0-4, and they gutted it out, and with a real level of determination, it's really been very impressive.
Especially coming off a regular season where they were so dominant towards the end. They came into the MAC tournament, and anything could happen in the MAC tournament, as we saw with the basketball team last year. The basketball team lost to a St. Peter's team that wasn't nearly as talented as them. Yeah. However, you come in, and the Stags really just run through the opposition. They outscore them 7-2. Is that a testament to their focus, their willpower?
Yeah, I think so. I think you guys asked me, what game in particular. I look back and say sort of that was maybe a turning point. I don't think for this team that there was that turning point. I think they always believed in themselves. I think they started convincing and maybe intimidating other people, though, when they had the win against Iona. So fast forward, you take down a team that was nationally ranked and well respected at the time. We completely iced them in the first half, completely thoroughly, controlled the pace of the game, controlled the passing of the game. I think that really sent a message to a lot of people that this team was a team to beat. And so going fast forward into the tournament, I think we had the fear factor on our side. I think a lot of teams were they knew that this was no fluke. This run was for real.
You obviously you've seen a lot of Fairfield soccer teams play.
Yes, I have.
How would you compare this team to those of the past?
Look, anytime you win a championship, they're all kind of special. So you don't want to distinguish one championship team over another. But I would say the thing I love about this group of guys is that they play as a team, they win as a team. When they lose with grace. When they did lose, it hasn't happened in a long time, thankfully. But I think there's a core group of leaders in particular, led by Jack Cleverly and Jack Burridge, our grad students. And in the addition of the Cristobal's, I think that added dimension of experience and age has given this team a real sense of balance through some tough times, so that when things do get tough, even in those overtime games, they never panic. And that's been the real key to some of these big wins.